All right, guys, well, I'm back today with an absolute game changer when it comes to high value and budget competition red dots. This is the Zulisy Oak Plus. This thing has a massive 26 millimeter viewing window and a ton of specs and features to compete with some of the nicest competition red dots out there on the market, but at an insanely low price. These generally sell for $89.99 in the current configuration and about $100 if you wanted a higher profile mount to mount it on top of a flat top AR pick rail, something like that, which makes it just an insane value for under $100. On top of that, Zulisy has included a discount code specifically for my viewers to save yourself some money for about 18% off, dropping the price down to $73.80 with free Prime shipping. All of the information, linking, and code will be in the description below if you were interested in purchasing this at the end of the video. Again, in my humble opinion, this is a game changer in the world of competition red dots. If you've ever picked up a handgun with an optic, a lot of times it may be difficult to find that dot. Now, with practice, you can easily find the dot with repetitive shooting, dry fire drills, and continuous practice down at the range. But the larger the viewing window, the more forgiving it is, especially on a competitive handgun where every second counts and you are transitioning from target to target. Now, sometimes when you're looking at a competitive optic, you're going to sacrifice a little bit for carry optics, but this one almost doubles as a great carry optic with all the specs and features that it has, but it does have a massive viewing window. One of the main things about that viewing window is the forgiveness like we talked about. And in general, when you move a dot left to right in the window, eventually the window will disappear like you see here. Now, the larger the window, the more room you have for error. And because of that, you're going to get a larger viewing window, so a larger room for error in competitive shooting, and it helps you pick up the dot and center it a lot quicker. This one also fits the RMR footprint pattern, which seems to be the most common footprint pattern on a lot of different handguns, including the Palmetto State Armory Dagger, and on top of this Alpha Shooting Sports Glock 34 slide. So it's really slick that it fits that RMR footprint, and it's also incredibly low profile, again, making it perfect for competition, because your natural point of aim will pick up these rear iron sights, and just above that is going to be that red dot with that massive viewing window. The other cool thing about this optic is it just doesn't do well for something like competitive shooting. It's got a lot of specs and features in the optic that are going to be absolutely key. This particular optic has auto on or shake awake technology, so the minute it senses motion, it automatically turns on, which is perfect for any type of scenario you can think of with a red dot, and it also saves battery when no movement is detected after 5 minutes. The other cool thing about this optic, it comes with a ton of mounting screws in the box. It also has iron sights built into the back of the optic, which is slick. And it's got that protective guard on the front of the optic that sticks out a little bit further than the window. If you wanted to rack the optic against something, it also protects it from impact. This one also features an up to 50,000 hour battery life. And it's got some insane brightness down at the range. This is the brightest red dot I've ever had out on the channel. So if you were doing shooting in some type of snowy weather or some type of white sandy, I'm just throwing out random examples here, where the sun is blinding, you will never wash out this red dot. The refresh rate is perfect. You don't see a pulse in the red dot at any of the levels, and it works out great. It's also a very crisp and clear dot, and it does get dim enough to use for different night vision applications. So it covers the board from dim settings all the way up to the super bright settings. Mount up was a breeze, and again, it fit every RMR footprint that I tried, and it held zero perfectly with no shifts in impact whatsoever. And Zulisy has a good reputation, in my mind anyways, for being a reliable and robust red dot. I've tried a few different versions of them, and the code that's good for this is also good for some of those other ones if you wanted to kind of stack up and add that to your cart. Also, you can buy one and another and input the code once, and it takes the discount off of both optics, so that's pretty cool as well. In summary, this hands down is my new favorite competition optic, period. Not for the price, just period. It's the brightest optic I've ever seen. It's got a massive viewing window. It works great at the range. It holds zero. It's low profile. Everything about this is an amazing competition optic. There are two downfalls though. One is going to be that it is a bottom load battery compartment. Not that big of a deal. I couldn't care less about something like that on a very specific competitive optic handgun. You have to make some sacrifices somewhere to get this insanely low profile feature, and that's what you have to do. Bottom load optic. Because of that, the second downfall is this is IPX6 waterproof rated rather than IPX7. So if this truly was a duty use handgun, I would be liking IPX7, meaning I could drop it 3 meters underwater. Now, IPX6 is going to be perfect. If you're shooting with this in the rain or drop it in a puddle, fully waterproof, no issues there. The real issue comes because it's a bottom load battery compartment. They do have a gasket that's included in the box to help achieve that IPX6 waterproof rating. But eventually, if you submerge this underwater for 30 minutes past 3 meters, you will have water eventually seep into the battery compartment. Again, for a competitive style optic, or even most duty use optics, you're not going to be submerging your gun for a very long time. But for my duty grade optics, Zulisy offers the standard versions of this in like the Oak and the Owl, which is the Doctor cut and the RMR cut, and both of those are going to be either top load or side load battery compartments that utilize that IPX7 waterproof rating. So Zulisy has something in almost every application. So they completely nailed this optic. It's one of my favorites that I've tried at the range in a very long time. It's so forgiving. Every time you go draw and point the handgun, that dot just picks up incredibly naturally, and you can pick it up insanely fast and take your shots at the range. Again, all of the information, linking, and codes will be in the description below. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Callaway Ballistics for donating the 9mm to help me make this video. These guys just did price drops and restocks, and they've got the code 704TACTICAL for 5% off and free shipping on orders over $200. Definitely check these guys out. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.